Hi, welcome back, everyone. We're here again. I think this is video number 4, hangout number 1, but I could be totally off and I wouldn't even care. This is awesome. They're going to be all in a row. You could just click on the next one. All right. Wade, did you want to repeat your question? Okay. That's a great question. What I want to move toward is where I have specific projects on specific parts of the day. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw Dave under the bus here because he doesn't mind. And it's really the yeah, I do it all. Well, yeah, but normally he's there next to, like, I would never talk behind his back, and he's not here right now. But it's really the best way to answer the question. The reason I can't have a day-to-day schedule like that is because Dave isn't a schedule guy. And because Collective Inkwell is my most dominant work, it's where most of my money is coming from right now. It's where most of my attention goes. So my week kind of has to revolve around that. Now, ideally, I would get my drafts at the same time each week so that, I could just block out, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is nothing but Collective Inkwell. That would be a dream come true for me. And I think that's where we're going to be moving by late fall, early winter. I have confidence that Dave and I will be there. That will help everything else fall into place. Right now, it is just ridiculously not in place because what I have is this really endless line of, it's my writing queue, and it's really, really just sad long because it's not just like projects that, it's really messy. It's not just projects that get worked on. It's line items. So for example, let's just take Yesterday's Gone. If I'm working on Yesterday's Gone episode 18, then I actually have not one line, but 3. Yesterday's Gone raw draft, Yesterday's Gone rough draft, Yesterday's Gone polish, Yesterday's Gone final inking. 4 to-dos on 4 different, I can handle those one day apart. But then I also have to filter in everything else that I'm doing in between that. So it's really, really hard. And I do 2 kinds of writing. I do writing and I do rewriting. So these use a very different part of my brain. And Dave has asked me that a bunch of times. He can't understand because on some of the projects I'm co-writing, for example, the children's stuff, I actually rewrite the stories almost line by line. And it takes me as much time, if not slightly longer, to do that than to just write it myself because I'm a pretty fast writer. And if I could get a rough draft out in this, and I still go over these 3 times. So really, rewriting does not say, working with another writer is not faster for me than writing myself, except in one respect. And that's that writing and rewriting are different. So when I have something that's rewritten, a writer and I will outline our story together, and then they write a rough draft, and then we take it from rough draft to finish together. So that's really fun. But essentially, I'm taking a story and finding ways to tell that story better, right? So, and that's in no way to discount the hard work that goes into the rough draft. It's just kind of, that's my specialty, is tweaking the language so that it's super readable, right? Where the work with Dave, I'm actually making up the story. So even if the writer and I together kind of outlined the story, they're writing the real meat and potatoes of what happens line to line. With Dave, I'm having to make those things up. So while I can do that 4 hours in a row and then immediately go to rewriting 4 hours in a row, I can't write 8 hours in a row and I can't rewrite 8 hours in a row. It's just too much on either direction. So working with other writers allows me to double my output without doubling how much I actually have to write, which I'm already at my max there. So over summer, my schedule's been awful because the children are home, and I love my children, but it is not easy to schedule life around them because even if they're being sweet, and they're really, really good children, they're great listeners, they have nothing but respect for what I do for a living, and they want it as much as I do. So that's all good, but it's very difficult for me to divorce myself from their laughter. If I'm up in my room and I'm banging away on the keys, I feel like kind of a dick. I want to go play with them. And So like that's kind of hard for me. I really want to be with my children, and they went back to school this last week, and so I'm actually going into. I'm so happy right now because I'm actually going into the September where I could add this call in. Like I could put this onto my plate, and it's okay because it kind of fits. I mean, it doesn't. This is totally stupid for me to be doing this, but it's not like stupid squared, which it was during summer. So now I have immovable writing blocks. Like there's no way I would have put this hangout at 11 o'clock because it would have taken one of my writing blocks. So I get one fat one done in the morning, one fat one done in the late morning. Then this is time when like I'm doing a podcast or I'm doing a hangout or I'm catching up on email or I'm doing that kind of rhythm. And then I go back and do another writing block before my children get home and then another one by the time they go to bed. So ideally each day has 4 large blocks of writing that are around 90 minutes. I found 90 minutes to be my sweet spot. An hour is a little too, it's just a little too short. I feel like in an hour and a half, I sometimes double what I did in an hour. But at 2 hours, I do like this much more than I did at an hour and a half. So I only found that out after tracking. Like everyone's different. I know that my brain used to quit after about 2 hours. Now it quits earlier. And I think if I was writing, it just does, but I can actually put on, there's no way I could do 4 blocks before. Now I could do 4 blocks, but they're shorter. So it's really about training. I mean, it's like how much weight can you lift, how much can you starve yourself, during the holidays? Like it's all willpower and rhythm and scheduling. But to answer, I absolutely, well, yes and no. I don't have a daily word count. I have a daily hour count. And within those hours, I try to write as much as I possibly can. And I race myself a little bit. So like I track it. My biggest win so far, and this is like, we all have our crap, all right? My crap is email. Like I love email. Like I'm such a crack whore about it too. It's so terrible because like I really should at this point. I'm intelligent. I'm a smart guy, and it really is my narcotic. I don't know what my problem is. I will be writing like 15 minutes, and I wonder if I have any new emails. Of course you have new emails. You get like spam, like of course. But the biggest win I had was when I started to track my numbers back in May, and I'm very specific about it. I have columns for, like all the variables, am I writing, editing, inking, what project am I working on, what shape was it in when it got to me, that kind of thing, because it helps me really see which projects are the most valuable, right? So a year from now, when I have a year's worth of data to look at, I can see, well, this project took me X amount of hours and yielded this amount of success. I don't want to repeat that one, but this one was this amount of hours and this amount of success. Hell yeah, I'm going to do that 3 more times. So I think it's important, and it's kind of annoying. It's kind of tedious. There are days when the last thing I want to do is put my number in a spreadsheet, but I know that it's the right thing to do. To me, it's very much like keeping your body maintained. It's something to do. It's a daily thing. If you wait to do it all at once, you won't do it as well. There was a question there though. Oh, yeah, my biggest win was I added a column 2 months ago that was, did you check email? And it's a simple yes or no, dude. Like I just got to write yes or no in all caps. And having to write yes was like punching myself in the face. Like I don't want to do it. Like I'm pretty accountable to myself. Like even if I'm the only one who knows, like that's enough for me. So I really hated that. I really hated seeing the yes, of course I did. And as soon as I knew that I would have to admit it at the end of the 90 minutes, it's shocking how often it went down. So it's just know yourself, know your bad habits, and work around them. That's really the best advice. Now I literally do not, I actually turn email off, which email was like the omnipresent open application. Now it's off when I write. And my word count has, of course, gone up. I'll be back in a second.